was sitting at the dinner table with Lily and me, and dinner was his favorite, spaghetti and garlic bread. But as soon as Tom took his first bite, everything went wrong. He stuffed a huge forkful into his mouth and started chewing with his mouth wide open, making loud smacking sounds. Lily stared at him with wide eyes because she could actually see the chewed spaghetti inside his mouth. I gently reminded Tom to chew with his mouth closed, but he just swallowed loudly and immediately plopped both elbows onto the table, leaning over his plate like a sleepy puppy. Then he reached across the table to grab more bread, his sleeve dragging right through the salad bowl and knocking over the salt shaker. Salt spilled everywhere, and Tom just laughed like it was the funniest thing ever. Lily face-bombed, and I took a deep breath, about to have another talk about manners, when suddenly the room grew dim and sparkly lights began falling from the ceiling like magical snow. A tiny, sparkly figure appeared floating above the table. She was the kitchen manners fairy, wearing a miniature apron and holding a tiny fork and spoon like a wand. She looked right at Tom and said in a firm but kind voice, "Thomas, we need to talk. I have been watching every dinner you've ever eaten, and my notes say you chew like a baby dinosaur. Your elbows live on the table, and your sleeves have visited every salad in the neighborhood." Tom's eyes went wide, and he gulped nervously. The fairy explained that good manners aren't just boring rules. They are actually magic that makes food taste better and makes people want to be around you. But she warned that Tom had one chance to learn, or he'd have to eat all his meals upside down for a whole week. Tom was horrified at the thought, so he agreed to try. The fairy presented 3 magical manners challenges. The first was a chewing challenge. Tom had to eat an entire slice of garlic bread with his mouth completely closed, no smacking or talking with food inside. Lily whispered encouragement, telling him to pretend his mouth was a secret vault and the food was gold. Tom took tiny bites and chewed slowly, his cheeks puffing like a hamster, but he kept his mouth closed the whole time. When he finally swallowed and the fairy declared him successful, Tom cheered and a golden star appeared on the first challenge card. The second challenge was the elbow challenge. Tom had to eat his whole bowl of spaghetti with both elbows completely off the table. This was hard because his elbows love being comfy on the table. I told him to sit up straight like a penguin, and Lily said to pretend a string was pulling him up from the top of his head. Tom wobbled and struggled, every bite a battle to keep those elbows from touching, but he did it. He finished the entire bowl with elbows flying free, and another golden star appeared. The final challenge was the reaching challenge. The fairy explained that Tom had to ask politely for everything he wanted. No reaching across the table, no grabbing, no leaning over other people's plates when he wanted the milk at the far end. He stopped himself from reaching and quietly asked, "Could you please pass the milk?" I smiled proudly and passed it. And Tom remembered to say thank you. When Lily tested him with the last piece of garlic bread, he asked politely for half. And when his nose itched and his hands were full, he even said, "Excuse me, could you please scratch my nose?" Sparkles exploded everywhere as Tom passed all 3 challenges. The fairy was overjoyed and awarded Tom a beautiful golden medal that read Manners Master, Official Polite Eater. But the real magic came next. She waved her wand, and Tom's spaghetti began to glow when he took a bite. His eyes went wide with wonder because it tasted like rainbows and hugs and birthday cake. Even Lily and I tasted our food and agreed it seemed sweeter and more delicious. The fairy explained that when you eat with good manners, you respect your food, your family, and yourself, and that respect makes everything taste magical. Then she faded away in a shower of sparkles, reminding Tom to keep his mouth closed, his elbows off, and his words polite at every meal after that day. Tom was a changed kid at the dinner table. He sat up straight, chewed quietly, said please and thank you, and even picked up crumbs to help clean. Lily whispered to me that he was like a whole new person. And I hugged Tom and told him he was always magical. But now he showed it at the table too. Tom grinned and touched his medal, promising to be a manners master forever. So remember, friends, good table manners aren't just rules. They're magic that makes food taste better and makes your family proud. If Tom can do it, you can too. Just keep your mouth closed, elbows off, and always say please and thank you. Subscribe for more magical kitchen adventures. And tell us in the comments what your favorite table manner is. Bye-bye!